How do you talk rural conservatives out of, let's say, homophobic positions? I mean, if you don't understand where their values come from, I mean, if you don't understand it, then it's impossible to do it. But like, here's what I'll say about like hate, okay? One of the advantages that like liberals have over conservatives in the United States is that liberals tend to be socialized around a lot more different types of people. So they have less hate for them just because they see them. It's not because liberals are better, because they have better moral principles. They don't. It's just because they tend to be socialized with them more. I think that for conservative people, no, hold on. They're super worth understanding, okay? Because if conservatives were as Vaush says they are, then we should eradicate them. Like, if it's true that conservatives are just like evil.
Motherfucking asshole. See that? Won't shut the up.
People like Mike, or I don't know if Vaush is a stummer, Hassan, think that mutual aid means donating money. That's not what it means.
I understand the urge to engage in sociological analysis, but first and foremost, it is critical to understand the fact that Republicans are demons wearing human flesh. You know, you can fault Democrats for being incompetent or maliciously incompetent. I mean, and you should, by the way. I encourage.
Can we not? Like, do we really believe that people that disagree with our views on things are demons in human flesh? Is that the level of analysis we're rising to? Can we be a little bit more honest? Why not like actually bring up, why not bring Republicans onto stream to talk to them? Wouldn't that be good? And then figure out like, why are you against abortion? Everybody that's saying that he's joking or it's irony, you are a massive cope in chat. I kind of want to ban you for 2 days so that you can go and get the medical attention you need, because you are probably inhaling unhealthy doses of copium if you think that it's just a meme. Like, you literally think this about everything ever all at once haters? Well, those people are actually subhuman. It's different.
You to. But most Democrats, you know, I don't feel they're actual envoys of Satan wearing human flesh. Republicans, however, this is a requirement for entry. And I want it to be known, and I talked about this a little bit on Twitter, but I think it's very important to insist on this. Anti-abortion, pro-forced birth advocates do not give a single shit about the unborn. This can be evidenced in a variety of ways. First of all, what are two very basic, common sense policies that everyone who sincerely cares about fetuses would support? Anyone who doesn't want abortions, right? You would want two things. You would want access to free contraception, because you want every birth to be deliberate, because if it's not deliberate, that increases the likelihood of abortion. And you want prenatal care. Those are the two big ones. Sex ed as well. No, three big ones. Sex ed, prenatal care, subsidized by the government, free, you know, the way civilized countries do, and access to contraception. Republicans support none of these. In fact, they're opposed to all three. Republicans are against access to contraception. They are against sex education, and they are against any kind of positive changes to our healthcare system.
Okay, these are good points to use in an argument with a Republican, but it's not good points to justify the idea that Republicans are evil, or that they hate children, right? Or not hate children, that they hate babies. I don't know. I don't know if I can watch this. This is really boring. I feel like it's gonna be a really boring video.
They do not care. What is prenatal care? Care for a pregnant, you know, like making sure the womb's healthy and everything. Making sure everything's going on well. They do not care, okay? The reason they care is because they want to control women. That is it. That is, at the end of the day, that is it. Okay?
This is so stupid. Do you really believe this? Like,
to the conservative, women having sex outside of the socially ordained, divinely ordained, controlled format of a monogamous marriage is sinful. It is degenerate. And the primary agent of this degeneracy is, of course, the woman. Now, Republicans don't care that much if guys sleep around. You know, this is very basic slut-shaming logic, right? Like, you know, you can talk about monogamy all you want, but when guys sleep around, it's like, hey, you know, and if girls sleep around, they get shamed and like kicked out of their social.
Okay, I think that he's intermingling a lot of different things. He's intermingling a lot of different things here. Culturally, what he's saying is true, but if we go to like more stricter religious things, at least in my Catholic education, like you're not supposed to sleep around as a guy either. Like that shit isn't taken seriously, or I'm sorry, that shit is taken very seriously as well. Obviously, there are more dire consequences if you're a woman and you get pregnant, but like there was none of that stuff like in my Catholic school. But I mean, like, I'm pretty sure most like religious people would agree that like all premarital sex is bad. Now, culturally speaking, we tend to celebrate men's promiscuity more than women's promiscuity. But religiously speaking, the people that would be like super against abortion on like moral grounds probably aren't in favor of men sleeping around too. But I would have to see polling on that. But I would be surprised if that was the case. But in Islam, men and women are killed for premarital sex. Is that true? I don't know if it's true or not. I shouldn't be repeating that because I don't know if it's true or not. But Vaush probably doesn't know any religious people, though, or anybody outside of his particular media bubble, so it's probably hard for him to have any fucking idea what the fuck he's talking about.
Circles in a lot of conservative places. In, like, the Bible Belt, girls will lose everything if they're accused of being a slut, and guys, by the same, I mean, we're talking about divine social standards here.
Wait, holy shit, are you from my fucking city? Prep is always going to be better than most Catholic educations as well, Destiny, just keep that in mind. My understanding is that, or this is what they told me in high school, most Jesuit high schools, I don't think every Catholic high school is a Jesuit high school, every Jesuit high school, most Jesuit high schools are going to be pretty good. That's what I've been told. I don't know if that's true or not. Prep was a very good high school. I'm so glad that I went to that school. I'm probably going to send Nathan to that high school, even though I'm not religious. It was a really, really, really good high school. But
here, right? You'd think it'd go both ways, but of course it doesn't. It's about controlling women. And when you have legal abortion, when you have sex ed, when you have access to contraceptions, in the mind of the conservative, you are facilitating a degenerate lifestyle. You are building for people the availability of that lifestyle, which they don't want. They want every act of sex done by a woman to carry weighty consequences that they will have to deal with for basically the rest of their lives.
this is like kind of true, but I would say that it applies to men as well, but
you know? And don't get me wrong, by the way, you know, right now they're going after abortion, but they will go after contraception. They already have. Republicans, famously just a few years ago, made a strong effort to prevent birth control from being one of the, obligated...
Will Destiny ban people who say he's wrong for body shaming Bad Bunny? Bro, I don't give a fuck. Suck my dick, okay? I'll do a little bit of body shaming on Twitter. These people are relentless when they attack me, okay? If you want to go fucking wring your hands or, what's the expression, like, for tone policing? There's a more... Like, go do that shit somewhere else, okay? Dude, people are wild. People are wild on Twitter about me, okay? I have to be unchained. Yeah, go clutch pearls, okay? I need to be a little bit unchained. It's so shitty too, because like people will keep, this is part of my manifesto. That's coming. I swear to God, it's coming. Yeah, I'm writing every day. I'm writing a little bit more, but I've just been, ask me in 10 years, okay? Remember when that one girl, the dough dipshit, was talking to Gammy about how like Gammy made a death threat against me? She said that it should be deer hunting season, and Destiny and other people signal boosted that death threat, okay? Bro, people, if I were to tweet some shit like this, are you fucking serious? And then this even has like 10 likes on it. I don't know if they ended up deleting this or not before it started to gain traction. I think they did, so it's hard to know how popular it got. But like, damn, this is kind of some wild shit, okay? This is a little bit extreme, okay? Jesus Christ. But did you see that Gusano Twitter account? Yeah, but that it doesn't count as a racial slur when it's against me, so it doesn't matter. I have all of these saved. Imagine finding a picture of me and my mom and then like tweeting it out and commenting. Like, how weird. But whatever. Okay.
aspects of healthcare that workers, what was it, the Hobby Lobby, right? Hobby Lobby, that was the place, their Supreme Court decision. So they don't have to provide birth control, you know? They want to, and you can look all over the place for examples of this. There are plenty of openly anti-contraception Republicans at the federal and state level. You can find examples of them making an effort to legally distinguish certain types of birth control in a way which makes them overlap with abortion, where legislatively, you know, they push against abortion, but, you know, what is contraception if not a preemptive abortion? There has actually been an effort to legally cordon birth control in a way that fits it in a similar category. And this is part of a broader process to legally disenfranchise access to reliable forms of birth control. IUDs, you know, birth control, whatever, the shots that you can take, the implants, you know, the goal would be to make these things more expensive, less accessible, and to impose essentially government penalties for the provided availability of these forms of contraception. If you don't think they'll do that, then keep in mind that for decades it has been illegal to fund abortions with tax dollars. Even though abortion is a constitutionally, for now, constitutionally protected right, and even though it is undeniably a form of health care, it has been law that abortions can't be funded with tax dollars. Planned Parenthood funds their abortion programs, a tiny fraction of what they do, through donations.
By selling baby parts.
Not through tax dollars. This is the case everywhere. It's just legally prevented. And they'll do the same for others. They will go after condoms. You think they won't? Take a look right now at the way conservatives are talking about the epidemic of grooming. You know, are you gay in public? You're grooming. Have you ever even thought about being transgender? Congratulations, you're a groomer. They were very concerned about false allegations 5 years ago when Me Too was the big flavor, but now, you know, I guarantee you this is going to happen, okay? Conservative parents are going to start walking through their local Target. They're going to be in like the CVS section, and they're going to see the condom section, you know? They tend to have the condoms behind like the locked drawer because people steal condoms all the time. So they tend to have it behind the locked like glass case or the plastic case, right? There are going to be pictures of them. They're going to take a picture of that and they're going to go, why when I'm walking through the store with my kid, do we see stuff like this on the shelves? What is this, a sex shop? Not at my gas station. No, do you think they wouldn't do this? Anyone here think this is a joke or an exaggeration? Do you really think they wouldn't do this? Oh, of course they would. That would be step number one. It's really, really, really difficult. They already do this, don't get me wrong, but like I'm talking Tucker Carlson segments. I'm talking like full-blown conservative coverage of this. You know, they're going to talk about how this is a form of grooming. Why would you expose children to stuff like that? And what the goal of this is going to be to try to push for public support for legislation against the legality of having condoms and other forms of topical, does anyone use spermicide? I've never heard of anyone using spermicide in the modern day and age. But, whatever, stuff like that.
For condoms, one of the lubricating things, when they spray the outside, condoms, no, it's on the inside of it. Condoms usually have spermicide inside of them, I believe. That's where spermicide, I think, is generally used.
From being available in, like, regular stores. And then it would just be in the sex shops. And mind you, if we live in a world where the only place you can get contraception is by physically going to a sex shop, not a healthcare clinic.
Not all condoms. Thank you, Drew. Thank you so much for that. What a great contribution. That is correct. Not every single condom or brand will have spermicide in it. Thank you. That was so valuable, dude. Thank you so much. Thank you for that.
Or just a regular store, we've already lost, you know. This is effectively an unacceptable degree of inaccessibility right off the bat. There's no limit to, also that means people under 18 can't get condoms too, which is perfect for Republicans because they love impregnating their child brides.
Jesus Christ!
This is their goal, okay? Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, why would they do this?
For my boomers in chat, I don't know how intentional or Vaush has like studied any other like media people. Something that Vaush very much reminds me of when I listen to him speak, he very much sounds like Rush Limbaugh. So like the goal is first you state some position that's kind of true that the person believes in. So like for instance, they are anti-abortion. Then you give an underlying reason why that is totally not true. Like they hate women or want to control all women. And then you try to branch out into other policies that they might actually support, but they're supporting it for the underlying reasoning that you've given, which like gives the impression that not only one, is your initial reasoning true, that there are evil, but two, you're actually making good predictions, which makes your reasoning sound even stronger, right? So the way that this looks in practice is like Republicans hate women and want to control their lives. That's why they support abortion. Republicans will also go on to support things like contraception because it gives them even more control over women because they hate them and they want to control their lives. And like, oh shit, and you know, Republicans do want to go on and control abortion. Yeah, that's true, right? So it seems like he's actually making predictions with his bad analysis, which makes his analysis seem really good. Like, whereas for an alternate explanation, we could just say that like Republicans genuinely do believe that like premarital sex like destroys society, that it's not a good thing, that it's ruining families, that we shouldn't have this for whatever reason, which is probably true. This is probably more likely why conservatives tend to believe that premarital sex is bad, so they want to get rid of it as much as possible. But like we can make all the same predictions that Vaush is making without having to have the highly conspiratorial, like very evil, you know, Republicans are devils in human skin clothing or whatever, like analysis, you know. What's the reason aside? Please don't ban me. Republican. I mean, like the more socially conservative, the more that you think it's just pretty bad to have like premarital sex and everything just does a lot of bad things for society. That people engaging in a lot of recreational sex is not good. It damages families. It causes, I guess, it causes premarital pregnancies. All you can get rid of that with abortion. But they probably also believe that like abortion is killing a baby's life. Like God gave you tools to have children and get pregnant and everything. We can't just kill babies because we believe that fetuses are alive, et cetera, et cetera. Also, people on the left seed some of the abortion arguments too by being dumb as fuck. I don't know if you guys know this or not. Do you know who the two worst people are to talk about fucking women being pregnant are? I will stand by this until the day that I die, okay? There are two groups of people that should never, ever, ever say fucking anything about pregnancy or women giving birth, okay? The second worst group are fucking men, okay? If you don't know, if you're gonna say some dumb shit about pregnancy or whatever you don't know, just shut the fuck up, okay? Shut the fuck up, okay? The worst group are women that have never been pregnant, who just say beyond stupid shit all the time and are just utterly fucking clueless about anything having to do with pregnancy or the pregnant experience, okay? If you're a woman and you've never been pregnant, shut the fuck up about abortions. Shut the fuck, like, unless you've talked to other women that have done these things, you are clueless, okay? Just because you have all the plumbing to produce a child doesn't mean you've been through the fucking process, okay? You don't get props for that in advance, okay? You don't get a fucking Medal of Honor for attending boot camp, all right? The reason why I say this is because something that's really frustrating is abortions are very difficult procedures to go through, and people on the left heavily discount like the social and emotional trauma of having an abortion. And ceding that ground completely to conservatives is a really bad look. Abortions are very, very, very difficult things to go through oftentimes. And if you are a woman and you've had an abortion, there's probably going to be some support that you need for that. If you are a man, or if you're a woman that hasn't been pregnant, you have no idea what it's like to have something in your body that is living and is causing experiences and shit changing in your body, and then to have an abortion where you basically just vacuum it out and chop it up, right? These are really difficult experiences. Now, that's not for me to say that like we shouldn't have abortion. I support abortion. I'm super pro-choice before like 24 weeks or whatever. If you want to have one, I think you should be able to go in for whatever fucking reason you want. I don't think it's whatever, even if it's recreational abortion. But don't be so stupid and believe that it's a whatever thing, that anybody can get one and it's not a big deal and it's the easiest thing in the world. That is not the case. And when you aren't willing to have those conversations, you cede all of that ground to conservatives, okay? But yeah. Why 24 weeks? It's like, I would have to go and look, but something between like 16 and 24 weeks is like whenever the child has like the faculty to have like a conscious experience, which is generally what I think about when it comes to defending abortion. But
why would they want, like, well, what's the goal here? Like, this isn't...
Why is it worse for childless women than men? Because at least when men are talking about abortion, you can very quickly write them off as being fucking stupid if they're saying dumb shit. But like women that have never been pregnant are just, they can just say some real wild, stupid shit about pregnancy because they like, like especially like a college woman that's never been pregnant, when you talk to her about pregnancy, is going to be saying some wild shit. All pregnancies are destroying your body permanently. When you get pregnant, your body is completely fucked for the rest of your life. Everything is completely fucked, and giving birth is the hardest thing ever. It's the worst pain ever imaginable, and it's destroying everything in your life. It's like just like the most soy fucking shit. It is the most soy fucking shit in the world. It is the cringiest, soyest fucking shit. I'm sorry. Okay. We need to spend more time on stream hating men, okay? We need to spend more time on stream hating men, because goddamn, I hate women, okay? I'm sorry. It's okay. I hate men too, though. Don't worry.
Isn't economically or socially beneficial. No one's lives are better because of this. They want this because they hate you. It's because they're evil and they hate you. That's the only reason why, you know. They defy sociological analysis. They simply desire your suffering.
Jesus.
That is it. That's the only thing that explains their behavior. You know, you can trying to understand their motivations is like trying to understand the motivations of a Captain Planet villain. You know, I'll drive an oil tanker out into the middle of the Atlantic, then blow it up so that we get oil to cover all the fish. You know, okay, why? Because they're a Captain Planet villain. That's why. And because they're Republicans. And Captain Planet villains are all Republicans. So, you know, that also fits. Are you describing the GOP or your average Republican? I am describing the GOP right now. Republican voters are split between three...
I have to be careful with Molina, okay? I need to be careful with Molina. I hate saying this, okay? If you have the opportunity to like just travel out a little bit more, I don't mean going to like other countries, okay? But like conservative areas are, you should experience conservative areas, okay? Because I think it gives you a better perspective for why people view the world differently. There is a huge divide between how city people and rural people like view this country and their place in this country and how they treat people. And Melina understands it way better now, and she comments on it every time. Like, when you're in conservative areas, assuming you're not black or gay or trans, like, they are very friendly people. They're super down to earth. They're like way more friendly, way more kind, way more nice than any like crazy fucking city people. Like, the lifestyles and everything are worlds apart. We saw this. We traveled a lot in Tennessee over the past 4 days or whatever. I think that just having that perspective, I think, can give you a better understanding for why there's such a divide between how liberals and conservatives in the United States view the world, because it is quite different. And I think it would probably make you a little bit more empathetic towards conservatives that are worried about like liberals changing it more for their world, especially when liberals don't seem to understand like where conservative viewpoints come from. So for instance, when you get people like Vaush saying they're just evil, I 100% disagree with you. It's always been the opposite for me. I'm trying to think if I want to say that we might have different experiences or if I just want to say you're wrong. But maybe, I mean, yeah, it could be the case. I don't know. It could be the case, but it's esports Batman, so he has a little bit of credibility here. Destiny, Nebraska native here. Rural people have a shallow kindness, but they can be incredibly closed-minded and cruel. Yeah, of course they can, okay? I'm not saying that, like, I'm not telling you that rural areas are like these bastions of like tolerance and progressiveness and peace and love, which is why I literally said as long as you're not like black, gay, or trans, right? They're obviously they can be closed-minded and they have different positions or them, but like the lifestyle and the general demeanor of the people is way, 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 way different than city people. Just something to keep in mind.
Categories in relation to this particular subject. First of all, you have the hardliners who are as morally reprehensible as the people they elect, okay? A good portion of Republican voters are just also that evil, you know? It's not like we live in a country where there are people who oppose interracial marriage, people who will kick out their LGBT children if they ever come out, you know, people who will firebomb abortion clinics. These aren't elected officials doing this. These are Republican voters. So yeah, there are a lot of Republican voters that are just that evil, you know? There are Republican voters who are weak-minded, stupid, or otherwise easily swayed, and will just sort of follow the tide of whatever information they consume. At the end of the day, you know, people care about what they're told to care about. If you're already watching Fox News every day, like, they've got you by the hook, you know. I mean, like, Tucker Carlson can go on there and say whatever, and like your political positions are just going to just be crafted.
How do you talk rural conservatives out of, let's say, homophobic positions? I mean, if you don't understand where their values come from. I mean, if you don't understand it, then it's impossible to do it. But like, here's what I'll say about like hate, okay? It requires an inhuman dedication to something or commitment to something to hate people in real life. It is so incredibly difficult. If you want to see this played in the gaming world, it's something I've advocated for a lot. Somebody that's willing to be toxic towards you on the mic is way more evil than somebody that's toxic against you in text. And the example that I always cite for this is back when I played CSGO, you could always tell who the worst ragers were because they were the people that were typing in chat at the beginning of the game. It was pretty rare. Now, I mean, it happens. But like, it was a lot more rare for somebody that was like willing to just be ardently evil on the mic to ultra shooting you. But like, as soon as you saw some motherfucker typing in chat, you knew that was the guy that was going to be like raging the hardest because he's fucking typing, and it's easier to talk. It's easier to type shit than it is to talk shit. But the oh yeah. So one of the advantages that like liberals have over conservatives in the United States is that liberals tend to be socialized around a lot more different types of people. So they have less hate for them, just because they see them. It's not because liberals are better because they have better moral principles. They don't. It's just because they tend to be socialized with them more. I think that for conservative people, when you start meeting gay people, or this actually, am I allowed to say this? Wait, is Stryker here? Because I think she, I don't know how much personal shit I can reveal. Maybe Stryker can speak up in chat. Maybe had this experience when we were in Tennessee a few days ago, where like when you get people that like are socialized with a, when you get people that are socialized a certain way, when they meet like a real life trans person or a real life gay person, like usually like they're pretty surprised because initially they're expecting something way different, and then they're like, oh wait, actually like this person's like kind of chill, they'll ask a lot of questions, and then usually like by the end of the night, like in one night, they'll be like, okay, maybe they're not gonna say like all trans people are cool, they might not say that, but before they would have said like, I would never fucking talk to a disgusting trans person, I would never do that, they're gross. But by the end of the night they'll be like, okay, this one trans person is okay, they're fine, this is a cool person, right? And you only need like 2 or 3 of these experiences. You only need a few experiences to like totally radically warp your perspective on something. Oh, I'll like 90 degree off into something completely unrelated to this on that note. I got an interesting email a while ago from a black dude, and he was telling me, so one thing that I say that I'm correct about is that like black people do not constantly have horrible experiences with cops where every time you get pulled over, you're gonna get shot, you're gonna get beaten up. You're like, it's like, that's just not the case, right? Sometimes people act like it, but that's not the case. But an interesting perspective that he emailed me about was that, and it's something that I already knew too, but I wasn't even thinking about it, so I didn't apply to the circumstance, is that when you're growing up, depending on the areas that you're in, if you're a black person, it really only takes like 2 or 3 bad run-ins with the police to have just like a fucked perspective on them for basically the rest of your life. That like, and I think the perspective he gave is like hanging out with a group of white friends and then cops stop you to ask you questions and the black person is the only person that gets searched. That like you only need like 2 or 3 or maybe 4, not even. You need like 2 or 3 experiences with something like this happening, and from then on you're like, fuck the cops. Like I feel like I'm fucked, you know? Which was interesting. I never thought about that before, even though I should have known that. But I thought that was an interesting point. But yeah, anyway, back to this. Viewing people as like evil. Wait. Destiny, swap conservative or rural with German Nazis. In the take you just gave, and you sound completely fucking insane. They're super nice and hospitable unless you're black or gay, with unless you're Jewish or non-Aryan. Like, holy fuck, Destiny, come on, am I crazy for making this comparison? Well, but let's swap it to the more generalized form, right? What happens is like, you're super nice and hospitable if you're somebody that you've been socialized around. That's the whole point, right? It's early socialization is super, it's the only reason why people are so amenable. I'm using that word correctly, right? No, not really. Amenable to being friendly towards. It's the main reason why people are so warm towards people that are like if you're liberal, like towards like people of color or gay people or trans people, it's because you just tend to see them more, you know. Isn't this a bit irresponsible / the stochastic terrorism of Vaush? Continue to call conservatives evil? Yeah, of course. And then saying that they want to like firebomb everything. And, like, oh, amicable. I think that's the word I was looking for. Sorry, amicable, right? Yeah, amicable towards people. But most of them have met like 2 or 3 black people their entire lives. That's true. Yeah, this is like something I said. Like I went to a private school. I want to say there were 2 black people in my school with like class size 1,000. No. I'm sorry. This whole school was 1,000. Class size is like 200 to 250. And actually, that's not true. There were 2 black people in my class, so there were probably like 10 in my school, maybe. In a school of like 800 to 1,000 kids, there were probably like 10 black kids. This is why I told you, like, I grew up. I don't think I was ever racist, but like I grew up always thinking like I could never date a black girl ever. Like that's just crazy to me. The idea that I would ever date a black girl. Like I'm not racist, I just never would. But like the only reason I thought that was just because I don't think I'd, hold on. Did I meet a single black woman in the entire time of me living in Omaha? I don't know if I ever did. I don't know if I saw a single black woman like in any other school. There might have been one. There might have been one. So like, but as soon as you start being socialized around people, like when I started coming down to Miami, I was like, holy shit, there's a lot of like hot fucking black chicks. Like when I say saw, I mean literally see. I don't mean dated, I mean see. I think there was one black woman that I know of through all of like the fucking like sister female schools or whatever that existed. Like seriously, have you ever been to North Omaha? Fuck no. I lived in South Omaha and then I lived in like Central Omaha. I didn't go to North Omaha, I didn't want to get fucking killed. That sounds more racist than it actually is, I promise, okay? Is Dylan a stochastic terrorist? He deserves all of it and so much more. Oh, I don't know. Don't care. All right. Is it just looks that made you change your mind? No, it's like, I think by default, we don't humanize people very well. We think of them as like objects or something in our head until we've dealt with them. It had nothing to do with looks. It just had to do with like, literally just like talking to and dealing with like black women. Like just like oh, you're like a normal, because it sounds really crazy to say this, but they don't seem like normal people. Nobody does if you've never seen them before. Trans people don't seem like normal people. Gay people don't seem like normal people. Black people don't seem like normal people. None of it seems normal if you've never seen them before. So the only idea you have in your head is like these larger than life TV caricatures of these people, and that's it. But then like once you finally get some real life experience, usually, hopefully, assuming it's good, usually that will change. And I've even gotten that, which we'll see when I release my manifesto and read through all of these experiences. I even see the same with a lot of the trans people that email me, that they're like, yeah, they live like in kind of conservative communities, but like most people are like chill with them. And then one of the complaints that they have is that like the thing that makes it the hardest, are you serious? Why am I dying so much? The thing that makes it the hardest is that like when crazy SJW people say crazy things sometimes, like that's the thing that gives them the most negative impression around trans people. Not like following JK Rowling's Twitter or shit like that, but yeah. When do you leave again? On the 14th. But when I get back, I'm here for a long time, okay? I promise. I promise. Stop picking the bird? Fuck no. I will get the birds. Does this influence your views on representation in media? I mean, kind of, but like my views on representation media is that it's always been good to have representation in media. The problem with understanding where conservatives come from is that they're not anything worth understanding. Either beliefs were inherited from the family/community or God. There isn't some underlying theory. I have lived in a very... No, hold on. They are super worth understanding, okay? Because if conservatives were as Vaush says they are, then we should eradicate them. Like, if it's true that conservatives are just like evil, that there's no redemption or any way to help them, then then we have to eliminate them instead, right? That's the logical conclusion of what Vaush is talking about, you know? Did you ever date Lauren Southern? Yes, I dated Lauren. It was weird because I was juggling 3 relationships at the time. I was dating Anna, Bad Bunny, Lauren, and I'm sure there's one other girl in there, but basically at any given point in time in my life, I'm dating like around like 3 or 4 different women. It just depends on, you know, who writes what in the twit longer, but Oh, fuck. I said a redacted name. I'm just kidding. I also dated your mom. Oh, and Brittany Venti, too. Yes. And Denims. I don't think Denims has said that, to be fair. I hope not. When is the next convo with good Brittany? Well, I don't know who you consider to be the good Brittany, because my chat's been talking about 3 things, okay, for the past, or my subreddit for the past week. Fucking Brittany, Mr. Girl, and sweatpants. This is my whole subreddit. Jesus Christ.
Into whatever mainstream Republican narrative they're trying to sell. I don't think these people are evil in the same way. Their outcomes are. I mean, they're still voting, but, you know, I don't think they're doing it out of a malicious desire.
Can you define what dating means to you? Yeah, actually, I had this discussion with somebody. I think that, like, in my opinion, I think that dating, is when some kind of emotional commitment exists. That's what I consider dating. So, like, if you have a person that can ghost you at any time and, like, it would be like an acceptable part of the arrangement, then, like, I don't think you're dating. But if there's some commitment or expectation that's been fostered, then I think that you're in some kind of dating relationship. That's what I would say. But, okay.
Desire to see the degenerates suffer. I think it's just, I think a lot of people just follow the wave, basically. And then I think you have a...
But I'll acknowledge that I guess some people have different definitions of dating, because some people have different definitions. Because I remember I was arguing with Redacted at one point about this, and because Redacted was trying to claim that we were casually dating, and I was like, I don't think so. But then they linked me some Psychology Today article that defined, I think the definition of casual dating was like, do you talk and have you had sex or whatever? And if so, then it's considered casual dating. It's like, oh, I guess. But, like, I've never heard that, like, description for dating before in my entire life. But okay. Hold on, I think it was this. Because if you use this definition, I think I've dated, like, never mind, a few people. Okay, the experience of casual dating. You are, oh wait, this is. You are practicing dating and getting to know what you like. You are taking things slowly before you decide if you want commitment. You just got out of a serious relationship but don't want a commitment. You want to have fun without the pressure of a committed relationship, and you want to keep emotional attachment to a minimum. This doesn't sound like, I don't know what is dating. This just sounds like friends with benefits to me. I don't know what, but I guess, like, and I could be wrong here. Maybe other people use other definitions. So, like, casual dating is not the same as hooking up. Casual dating implies a desire to maintain a relationship, even though it is deemed casual. Yeah, like, I don't know. It just seems weird. I've never heard this, but I guess if you use this definition of casual dating, maybe I've casually dated a lot of girls. I'm not sure. I don't know. Click this.
We're at this table because of me, Phil.
What are you talking about?
This beats your table.
Phil has an Achilles heel, and it's his ego. He's going in on it.
Okay, a queen on the river.
What is? Why did you link
Drills
this?
3 5s, drawing to a 5. That's what I love about Phil. He remembers half the hands.
Oh, you had ace 5 suited. I called it raise. You have some issues with the truth, don't you?
I have no issues with the truth. Truth is, I'm gonna whoop
So
you.
many girls on dating apps say they're looking for something casual, but it seems like they're... Okay, I'm gonna give you a big pro tip right now. Fuck, but I shouldn't say this because if you're listening to this, you're not responsible enough to handle this. You can't handle the truth, okay? The truth is, everybody is looking for somebody to fuck, and everybody is looking for somebody to date at all points in their life if they're not already fucking or dating somebody. That is the case. Whenever somebody tells you, I'm not looking to date right now. They're never being, they're either lying to you or lying to themselves, but we don't care. They're lying to somebody. That's all that matters. Plenty of people have done that. Like, oh, I'm not looking to date anybody right now. Bullshit, motherfucker. If the right person came along, you would date that motherfucker in a heartbeat, okay? When somebody says that, what they mean is they don't want to date you or they don't want to fuck you, okay? That's what that means. Don't take it personally, okay? A lot of people don't want to fuck you or date you, okay? Happens. It's okay. But, like, yeah, that's... Why are we watching
All right,
this?
my patience is out. I'm going to have to take you out quickly now.
I doubt it.
You've,
Oh, you straighten up your chair?
You've talked. Oh, no. If we were playing heads up...
Sometimes your most base take that we treat women too much like retarded children. I feel the exact same way with you and how you treat conservatives. Well, the reality, my dude, as somebody that just saw everything everywhere all at once, what I've come to realize is that we actually just need to treat everybody in society as retarded children. That's the best society. It's where all of us are handheld like retarded children. To quote the philosopher, J. Cole, if I can make one more suggestion respectfully, I would say it's effective to treat people like children. Okay? Understanding the time and love and patience that's needed to grow. Do you understand?
Somewhere else I could have my headphones on and just ignore all the bull. But now I have to engage and just bust you quickly. You're not smart enough to fold, so.
Oh no, Bill's gonna bring his C game.
The gloves are coming off in this one.
I actually don't think Phil's going to change anything. Let's see.
Ooh.
Sticking with the dark check.
5,000.
Ace high wheel card board here.
Wait, what does wheel card mean? Like you have like an ace and then like unders that can make like the ace to 5 straight? What does wheel board mean? I never heard that term before.
Peeling with this queen 10.
Check.
Person's ace deuce gets counterfeited on the turn. He checks back. Now he fills up on the river.
10,000.
Hellmuth tries
30.
to bet
30,000.
the queen high.
Gotta love this game. Man, he brought his A game today.
Oh
He's
no.
gonna beat me in 20
Oh,
minutes.
okay. Ace 5 straight is a wheel. Gotcha.
Yeah. Start the clock.
You might be one of the most, I will say this, you might be one of the most obnoxious guys I've played in the last few years. $11,000.
Great. 11,000.
And that's okay. I think you need to be obnoxious to win, maybe. Maybe you don't have the skills, but
I'm gonna win, Phil. We're gonna fast forward.
Wait, hold on. I have a quick question. Somebody said, I've lived in the South, so my opinion is worth more than yours, thanks. Miami obviously doesn't count. Okay, when people say the South, Miami doesn't actually count, right? Miami and Orlando? Like, it doesn't actually include a lot of Southern Florida, does it? Or would you guys say that it does? Because I would agree with that. Like, the South is like Louisiana, Alabama, Tennessee, fucking, like, this is like the South, right? And then like Central and Northern Florida for sure. Do we all agree with that, or? Georgia, yeah, okay. Here's something else. I don't know if you guys agree with this or not. When people say East Coast, I exclusively think of New England. Am I wrong about that? Like, I don't consider... Yeah, is that accurate? Like, when people talk about, like, East Coast people or what are East Coast is like, I basically am only thinking of, like, the New England East Coast. Like, does this count? Yeah, okay. No, you're dumb. Yes, no, yes, no. Ooh. New York isn't New England? Wait, is that true? Wait. Am I I don't know what New England is. I'm gonna be totally honest. I have no fucking idea. Yes, you retard. New England is the northeast region of the United States. I don't know any of the northeast states. It's all one big blur to me. Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island. Oh, close enough. It might as well be New England, all right? DC is East Coast and Florida cities. East Coast is tri-state area mainly. Oh, so when you're in that area and the radio stations keep saying like DMV, is that the tri-state? No, because that part of that is DC. Is Dusty the guy in the upper right? Oh yeah, I have like I have like 3 people on my stream right now. Sorry, hold on. Why did we get sidetracked to
Go to
this?
the end. I'm gonna beat you. I'm not sure what you're gonna say.
You have no chance.
The D is for Delaware? Wait, is that true? I thought it was DC, Maryland, Virginia. Wait, what does DMV stand for? Is it actually Delaware? Oh no, it is DC, Maryland, Virginia. Fuck you.
Hit all those river cards and you're still drawing dead.
Let's put 50,000 on it, Phil. You and I, right now.
Is that all you can do? Is offer bets?
Would you like to do 100,000?
Is that all you can do? Offer? Can you play your hand?
I'm
You're burning
asking
my
you.
time, man.
Oh, you just took a leak for 2 minutes. Don't
Yeah.
tell me I'm burning your time.
I asked you before the match.
I
if it was
understand.
okay. You said
I
yes.
understand, Phil.
So now you want to call that out on me too, huh?
It's a fact.
I will say, as a gambler, I think offering a bet to bet more here is like a totally reasonable thing to do. You want to bet more right now? I mean, I
Just a
get he
fact,
has a
Phil.
small chip lead, but, you know, Phil just said he has 0 chance to win. I think it's
Good
like
thing you
great.
got your egg
Zero
going.
chance to win. Okay, let's bet 50K more. It's a very reasonable response to that. Phil
It's
acted
always
like it
hard to
wasn't
decipher in
reasonable.
these heads-up matches. What's happened?
You're getting beat. That's what's happening.
Well, you've been lucky a bunch of times.
Before getting involved in the gaming industry, so.
Is this, are these turning chips or is this cash? Like, what are they playing for right now?
Oh, check. Check.
While he may not be in a 3-piece suit, this is a man who
Check.
has
I
professional
wonder what you do if you
accolades.
don't hit that deuce in that hand.
12,000.
It's a tournament, heads up tournament, gotcha.
Wow. Person's a little dialed in here.
Very
All
dialed
the
in.
cards you hit, and you're still gonna come up short.
Folds the deuces to
Phil,
the
you
threes.
have no chance today.
Jesus. Tell the guys in the that I gotta have my headphones.
You have no chance today, Phil. Look at me. You have no chance.
Look no further than the king of diamonds or
Check,
the 8 of
check.
spades if you want to run a 23andMe test
Check,
after this
Check.
match is over. On the heels of Hellmuth
15,000.
getting a taste of his left index finger. Has the straight here. Gets through the ace high.
Parsons been making the correct decision post-flop on these rivers and whatever quite a bit.
I will tell you this.
Turns and
You were the
rivers.
last person I wanted to play today because it's like it's so obnoxious.
You didn't even know how
play a better
obnoxious.
play than I'd much rather play a player that's much better than you that's not going to be so obnoxious.
You know how obnoxious I was till you played me today.
I know. And now I'm saying a narcissist.
A lot of hand heads up.
Oh jeez, sorry, hold on.
Psychologist.
Check.
Psychiatrist, rather.
Wait, did it just come in at like the middle of this fucking hand? How do we miss that? Oh, it must be like a super
Psychiatrist,
cut or whatever, although.
His wife, Catherine. Correction.
Oh, here the lean back.
Oh my goodness. Quad kings.
How do you hit quads and a heads up?
Putting on the real
Why are you even playing with
theatrics
9-2
here.
suited? Listen, heads up poker, heads up hold'em is a totally, it's not even related to normal like 9-handed or 11 or whatever the fuck you play. It's not even it's not even the same game. It's a totally different game. It's a completely totally different game.
This ace-9 is a lot of hand heads up.
Oh no, don't raise here. Don't do the act and then raise. Just call, man, and then just bet the river or something. No, okay.
5,000 return.
But it's still too much acting.
Yeah, I think Hellmuth checks.
14?
Oh, 14,000 bait.
I mean, he's really laying it on thick. Okay.
Would you say you're better at
At this
regular
point,
poker or
there's
heads up? Probably regular.
Absolute
Heads up is just
correlation
a
between
crazy
hand
game.
strength and
He's acting a lot, but I haven't watched all of his hands, so maybe he normally acts like this. This seems like he's doing a little bit of of a fucking musical here, okay?
And this is
Song
not
and
he's
dance.
betting and
overdoing
then
it to the
raising it.
point. He's overdoing it to the point that I think it's like with the intention of
I want to
being
give you this.
really blatant.
Oh, he might be on the 4th level of irony though, right? Like he's overacting so much, it's obvious that he's overacting, but he's trying to obviously overact to like oversell the strength of his hand when in reality he has literally the fucking nuts of the nuts.
I'm gonna raise.
I mean, come on.
This is like so
Does
insane.
anyone, this struggled and then
Come on.
raises you.
Raise all in.
There you go.
And cooler after cooler as you hem and haw and let me know you have a king. It's so sick.
Is that what I have? A king?
Cooler after cooler.
He probably could have bet for value there, right? But I guess he's just trying to take him out. But whatever.
Thank God for all.
Who knows what the right?
and hawing.
Who knows what the right clip is, or the right play is? Sorry.
God.
Another cooler.
Blinds are have great knees.
You would have busted some people with all that acting. It's actually
I think any.
some pretty. They just protect them up and end it. I only want a player or someone like a great businessman who's a nice guy, not this bullshit. He needs to have a warning.
I'm giving him a warning. It's been.
He should have a warning.
And by the
too,
way, it's more
to
than
be
fair. Oh, you want to try to get me a warning?
And listen to him.
You got your warning.
Play your hand.
We have to reciprocate.
Cool.
I mean, it's, a lot of the
I haven't
talking
put up
has
with
been
this
back
much
and
abuse,
forth.
ever.
I'll be
You just
frank,
keep ramming?
my opinion,
How does
having
this
watched
work?
this, is the biggest
Paul.
thing that's out of line was the double middle fingers.
Agreed.
Beyond
Will you come
that,
up, Paul?
they've both been jousting, both been talking. A
Yeah,
lot
check.
of the engagement from person happened because
8,000
Hellmuth
in the
was
dark.
saying things to him.
8,000.
Hellmuth binks the queen as person turns an open ender.
I just wanna see how this
Both
ends,
players
sorry.
Check the flop.
Oh.
8 dimes ahead, and now on the river. Person has made the straight.
35,000.
Wait, did he not bet the turn, or did he? I didn't see it.
It's bad enough.
Okay, Phil is actually getting fucked really hard at all of these hands.
I got a 10 or something.
It's easy to look like a god when you're getting fucking dealt, okay, cash money every time. Jesus, but we'll see.
Ridiculous.
Hellmuth down to just 52,000.
Good luck.
Now you can speak up because now we're going to give you a penalty and you're
6
going to
big
ante
blinds.
off like 100,000 while you're gone. This is me? This is me? You already gave the guy a warning.
Phil can't help himself, man.
Don't try to turn this into me.
You've been the only one talking.
This is just ridiculous. I mean, I've just
Since the warning was
Yeah.
issued.
Sense the warning. But I mean, listen, before they were both doing a lot of talking. To be fair, Phil didn't mind until person started whooping his butt in the poker, which he did. Now,
you tried
there
the
was
World
involved,
Series of
but some
Poker.
good
If you're at
play.
my table, you will get kicked out so fast. It'll be sick.
Does he just get to do that?
Oh, you want to complain about me, huh?
I'm asking the question.
You want to complain about me? Mother asshole.
See that?
Won't shut the up.
That's a warning for you. You can't. You both have a warning.
Now both players have a warning.
You gave me a warning. You gave me a warning, Paul.
Things are getting ugly out here,
Yeah.
Rust.
Well, I mean, really, the double middle fingers should have gotten an instant penalty, not even a warning.
Oddly
That-
enough,
that's-
Phil didn't call for Paul at that
Yeah.
point, which
That was
I really
way
think would
over
be
the line.
well within his right to have done.
Of course. This is a humorous match, though. Oh my god.
Oh God, is he gonna bust on this one, bro? This guy's running so hot.
All in.
I call.
Oh
It's
my God.
disgusting. Oh my God. And Phil's the one that
I
ships
have
it.
four
Well,
big
it's king
blinds.
three
I have a
against
king.
aces.
He has aces.
Jams
He has
it.
2 suits.
Actually, he
What does he mean? He has
only
only one suit. Yeah, yeah.
I'll tell you right now, I won't play another event, heads up championship if this man's in the field. So I'm just going to tell you guys. Or I need better protection, and I know we'll talk about it, but
He's so ass blast, bro. He got fucked here.
Here is the moment.
Here is the
Phil
moment.
Hellmuth is about as big a dog as you can be pre-flop and hold him.
Well, it could be
89
worse.
to 11%.
you got to me, buddy. Congratulations.
But don't worry, we
Just got in
know.
with the best, didn't I?
Yeah, your strategy worked. I'm being an asshole to
He needs like runner kings, I think. I think it's over. Or king 3, maybe? No.
Queen
Yeah.
7 deuce rainbow, and now Hellmuth just 2%. Needs 2 runners.
Or runner.
Not gonna be any
threes or
love
whatever. I
lost
think it's
between
over.
these guys.
Rip.
It's over.
There it is.
Eric Person.
Thanks for the reaction, Vaush. Okay, stop blaming me random shit, you dumb fucks. Give us your reaction, Vaush. What is happening? Is he... The sniper keeps killing him. Gotcha. Okay.
A decent number of Republicans who have like hook issues that like they're like single issue voters, and they care so much about some things that they're willing to make sacrifices on other things. Keep in mind, I think this
You're
was
describing every single voter ever there, Vaush. There are plenty of people that are single issue voters. It's not just Republicans.
posted by SDL on Twitter, but there is not a single state in the entirety of the United States which has more than 30% of its constituency in favor of revoking Roe v. Wade. In every single state in the United States, Alabama...
Why did I think Vaush was smarter than this at some point? Unironically, Vaush used to be better, unless I'm coping. Vaush used to be better than this. But I think it sounds arrogant, but it was back when he was like copying me more and he wasn't trying to do his own thing. Vaush was a lot better at critically engaging with points. But I think he realized that like being a demagogue is way more easy. It's way more fun. You get less pushback. There's more money involved. It's like there's so many better reasons to just be a demagogue than to like try to figure out shit on your own.
Mississippi, Idaho, in every single one, 70% or more. Yeah, here we go. This was data for progress, not SDL. But what is SDL if not data for progress? Look at that. Every state in the union, 70% or more, in favor of. Oh, sorry. This isn't the Roe v. Wade statistic. My apologies. This is a federal ban on abortion, which is not the same thing. My apologies. I mistook this graph for another. I think still something like 68%. I think that's the number that Elizabeth Warren gave when she was talking earlier. Something like 68, 69% of Americans are in favor of Roe v. Wade. This is on a federal ban for abortion. 72. She said 69. Nice. Just making sure. Look, whatever. However you're parsing the numbers out here. The point is, most Americans, this isn't to their favor, you know. And there are, by the way, a lot of Republicans who vote Republican but are still like pro-choice. In fact, the last, I think, 2021...
Okay, you have to be careful with his arguments here because, like, isn't he technically undermining himself? If he's going to go on to make all of these arguments that, like, nobody wants to federally ban abortion, like, even Republicans are generally chill with abortion, like, isn't that the conservative argument for saying, like, okay, well, like, you don't need to be scared that Roe v. Wade is going to mean that abortion is going to be illegal in every state now, because, like, even Republicans aren't in favor of that. Like, you're fear-mongering, right? Isn't he kind of making the argument against himself by saying this?
Gallup poll showed something like 30 to 40% of Republican voters were either pro-choice or, like they're okay with it sometimes. You know, they're not hardliner, like crazy ban all abortion types. The point that I'm getting at here is there are a lot of people who vote red who aren't like super crazy partisan on this issue. And I think a lot of that just comes down to these people thinking like...
Hold on. Do Americans support abortion rights depends on the state. Where Americans support or oppose legal... Oh, okay, so he's just wrong here. State with abortion bans designed to be activated if Roe is overturned. Gotcha. Okay.
Like, okay, well, maybe I don't support the revocation of Roe v. Wade, but, you know, something has to be done about the border, you know, that kind of thing. Where it's not that they're monstrous on this particular position, it's that there are other issues that they...
Jesus Christ. Conservative wife is raped and family members behave as expected. I'm a very conservative person. I don't believe you should be able to get an abortion without justified reasons. My whole side changed after my now wife was raped about 4 months ago. We tested to make sure she wasn't pregnant, but after 2.5 months, she was. She was still having her periods and hardly gained any weight. We cannot afford another child after just having one last September. We went to Planned Parenthood. It was the worst experience of our lives. We had people screening us, telling us so much stuff. While my wife is now in the hospital with self-harm, she was the happiest person ever finding this happen. I'm so like poison pilled on Reddit. I don't believe this is true. It reads like a fake post to me, but people were screaming at us and she tried to kill her. Like, but maybe, I mean, it could be a real story. We really couldn't afford another child. I'll ask you openly, as some women who don't find out till later that it affects their health or came from rape or anything like that. But our family's both conservatives dropped us after learning about our abortion. My whole world turned upside down. Friends and family calling us killers. She was raped and she didn't want to go through it. And I'll always stand behind that, even if it means I have to vote against the majority of my beliefs to make sure my life's forever changed. Yeah, I don't know. But maybe.
They've been given the impression they need to kind of like fall in line to support them as a group, if that makes any sense. Anyway, the reason I'm distinguishing between these three groups isn't because I think any of them should be exonerated of the consequences of those they vote for. All these groups of Republicans are responsible for where we're at today. Actually, we should talk directly about who's responsible. We should just run off a list, shall we, okay? RBG, didn't retire. Stupid bitch. What the fuck is wrong with you? You died. Why would you do that? You should have retired.
Kind of true. Yeah. A little true. Yeah.
Thanks. You know? Let us add a hearty condemnation to, let's be real, Bernier busters. Yeah, like Jimmy Dore types. 100%.
As much as I love to shit on lefties, I don't think you can blame Bernier busters. I think that like most Bernie supporters voted for Hillary. Some didn't, but I mean like that's to be expected. I don't know if you can blame Bernier busters on Hillary losing the election. As much fun as it would be to do so, as much as I would love to do that.
That clip with Jimmy Dore arguing with Sam Cedar, and Jimmy Dore asks incredulously, well, what if Trump appoints 3 Supreme Court justices? Guys, if Hillary Clinton had won in 2016, the court would be stacked 6-3. Blue. And we would have Roe v. Wade. No matter how you feel about Hillary, and Lord knows I hate the woman, but that is inarguable. Absolutely inarguable. 3 Supreme Court justices. Yeah, where's that clip? Here, hold on. A completely random clip. Oh yeah, it got posted on my subreddit. One more time, you know. Just a little blast from the past here, huh?
I want you to vote. I don't care who you vote for. You live in California. What I want you to do is to stop offering theories about politics on your platform that are bogus, that are not
Yeah, well, I think I just proved to you they're not bogus, Sam. You haven't proved that they're bogus at all, except that you said it.
Well,
I think I just kind of showed you how you're wrong about all this stuff, and you're voting out of fear again. Out of fear. Oh, because there might be 2 Supreme Court judges. What if there's 3? What if the moon falls into Lake Michigan?
What if there are 3
Oh, no.
Supreme Court picks Trump gets? What if the moon falls into Lake Michigan?
Reverse Tim Pool moment.
Guess we should really be looking out for a lunar trajectory towards Lake Michigan, you know, since he got one of these 2, right?
What are we going to do then?
Now, Jimmy, let's talk about risk assessment. Do you think there's a difference in the probability that 2 80-year-olds with multiple cases of cancer are going to serve out their term versus the moon falling into Lake Michigan?
Fuck, Sam used to be based.
I just disagree with your forecasting, Sam. I don't agree with it. I think it's a bigger risk.
Do you want to
for
look
Hillary
at
Clinton.
actuarial tables for the life expectancy of an 80-year-old man who's had multiple cancers?
Oh,
I can
fuck.
right now get you a great deal on
Fuck
term
you,
life
Mel.
insurance, and you know that's the best insurance there is.
I have term.
He doesn't even take it seriously.
See? You know it. Sam, this is about me being better looking, isn't it?
I mean, listen, it's not funny to me, and that's the problem. Is that it is not funny to me. I think it's really dangerous.
What is dangerous? That people vote their conscience?
No, I think what's dangerous is honestly using your platform and espousing fantastical notions that I think that could be really detrimental to the lives of literally millions of people.
And then, of course, we have the press secretary for Bernie Sanders' campaign back in 2017.
God. The online press secretary, right?
Right after Trump got inaugurated on the 2nd of February. So, you know,
Fuck.
I
Or, like,
think-
didn't she
I
do, like,
think
online
that
communications?
A decent amount of derision is deserved towards these people. Now, I don't think Bernie or Busters got Trump to win in 2016. I don't think that's true. It's not true. You know, every assessment we have of who voted for who.
Wait, hold that thought 1 second. Oh.
After your talk with Pisco, have you changed your thoughts on Roe v. Wade, or do you just better understand his argument in general?
No, I think the arguments I agree with are there's a concept called stare deciderandi. It's a Harry Potter spell. It's used to fuck your mom in the ass.
And then.
Okay, good luck.
Back in 2016 do not suggest Bernie or Busters were like a relevant force. There were fewer Bernie Sanders supporters who went on to vote for Trump in 2016 than Hillary Clinton
supporters that voted for Obama
McCain back in 2008 after she lost to Obama in the primaries for the Democratic Party. So, yeah, I don't buy that. But I still think it's okay to personally hate all of these people right now. And I do want to say, in response to, because there's this big wave of anti-electoralism going on right now where people are like, just go vote. What do you mean just go vote? You know, I just want to say this, okay? I just want to say this, all right? It is wild to me how we're on like the 85th billionth example of lefties looking at the consequences of Republicans winning elections and going, damn, looks like we didn't achieve anything.
Let's keep not
we need
voting.
to stop fighting against Republicans winning elections in the future. Like, what's happening right now is a direct consequence of Republicans being in power. But for some reason, they're turning on Democrats. Don't get me wrong. You can hate Democrats. Do Democrats do a good job defending civil rights? No. Do Democrats do a good job doing anything at all, ever, at any point, anywhere? No.
I like how it's funny how he has to skirt this impossible line where he's like a spineless little Weasley fuck that's catering to his base while also trying to be somewhat like insightful or politically honest with his insights. Like, guys, voting is really important. Well, sure, but why would voting be important, Vaush, if Democrats were useless in defending civil rights? If Democrats were useless in doing anything at all, why should we vote? Well, guys, because, I mean, look at the consequence of voting. Yeah, but didn't you also just say that Democrats are useless? So why would we vote for people that are useless, right? Like, he's trying to, like, have his cake and eat it, too. It's, like, so hard. It's funny to... it's just funny to watch him try to do both at the same time.
Democrats, have they fulfilled their promise at protecting Roe v. Wade? Federally? No, they didn't. Though I will note, by the way, people are saying Joe Biden could just do it right now. No, he can't. He would have to get rid of the Senate filibuster, which he can't because of Joe Manchin and Sinema, and they're the kingmakers in the Senate because they have a 50-50 split. So if there were more Democrats in the Senate, then that wouldn't be the issue. Didn't they literally make an effort to get that women's rights bill passed? What was that? It's the ERA, right? Yeah, the ERA. They literally tried to. Didn't Manchin hold it up? Yeah. Could he not do anything via executive order? No. No. the laws concerning what you can do with executive order are complicated, but a lot of lefties seem to think that it's literally like he has a button on his desk that he can just do to magically do laws. It has to do, the executive branch's job is to enforce existing laws, and there's a lot of work they can do within that purview, you know, the regulations that they can enforce through the executive branch. But when we're talking about federally protecting the right to an abortion, that is a legislative thing. That's a law, not a policy, you know. So that's not something that he can just do. Right now, Joe can't do anything magical about this, you know, apart from make this a bigger issue, be more vocal about it, which of course I support him doing. But listen, anyone who approaches this with this indignant, like, well, voting doesn't work, buddy, you really think things would have been better if fewer Democrats had won back in 2020? Like, come on, think for a sec, right? Like, come on. Like, come on, grow up. Like, really? Come on. Vaush, if I might ask, didn't Trump do some things in that manner suggested? If so, thoughts on Biden using that ability? No. Trump didn't do... The laws with regards to what you can do with executive orders, it's very complicated. I don't pretend to know all of it, but I do know for a fact that you can't do something like that. And if Joe Biden tried, it would get held up in the courts. Like, it would be shot down every time, like, immediately. Any legal protection for abortion would need to be done through Congress, because we're talking about something that needs to be maintained uncontroversially for decades moving forward. It's not like throwing out these unconstitutional band-aids is not enough to meaningfully address the issue. It doesn't fix anything. And we should aim for something higher than that. In reality, what we really want is a constitutional amendment with a sort of, you know, more specific provision for civil rights protections. But we're never going to get that, because you would need, like, what is it, 2/3 the states to ratify it, and it's not going to happen because like half the states are red. Yeah. Vaush acting like HRC would get 3 SCOTUS nominees through as a fever dream. McConnell would have blocked every nominee for 4+ years.
No,
I don't think that's true,
shot.
But even if that was,
that's unfathomable. To be fair, Merrick Garland was fathomable. Just, it was unbelievable. But this would be unfathomable. It's the next level. It's the next worst adjective in the thesaurus. That 4 Supreme Court picks would have been held up for 4+ years. No shot. That would be insane.
And after the senatorial election, then you would just have Joe Biden in office in 2020, and then they would have the 50 plus the 1 tiebreaker with Kamala Harris. I don't think he could have blocked the nominee for 4+ years. Yeah. Isn't that just an argument to vote for more Senate Democrats? Yes. I reaffirm this, and people can get as mad at me as they want.
How did Republicans hold up Garland again? Okay. When you're the president of the United States, you are allowed to nominate a Supreme Court justice, and then the Senate has a hearing to confirm the Supreme Court justice. But what happened was McConnell, who was the Senate majority leader, so the Republicans had a majority in the Senate, and he was the leader, the big boss of the Republicans, said, okay, cool, you nominated Merrick Garland, we're just not going to ever have a hearing to actually see if we're going to confirm him or not. I'm never going to put that on the agenda. We're never going to do that. And I think people didn't really know what to do, because I don't know if it's illegal to drive your car backwards on the interstate if you're following all of the other traffic laws. I don't know if there's a law against that, but I'm pretty sure if somebody saw you doing it, they'd be like, something is not right here. I don't think you should be allowed to do this. But like, technically, there's not a rule forcing the Senate to say, well, you have to have a hearing for my my Supreme Court nomination. But I mean, like, you kind of have to, because that's the only way the president gets it. I don't know if you'd call that a constitutional crisis or crisis of power, what, but like, yeah, like it was pretty fucked up. It was historically unprecedented that a president of the United States for that long, was it for a full year? Was it a full 365 days? Wasn't allowed to have a hearing on their Supreme Court nominee. You're using the legislative to take away an expressly delegated power to the president of the United States, which is pretty vital to our system of checks and balances. The United States president is entitled to his Supreme Court nominee. That's what he gets to do. And the legislative branch basically took that power from him, which, in my opinion, they absolutely should not be allowed to do. That's fucking insane. But It was like a year and a half? Oh, gotcha. Was there a precedent for holding up a nomination in the lame duck session? No! That is bullshit. Well, we can look it up. Days... what would we look up? Like, Garland was like, I think like, I want to say Garland was like 8 months longer than any precedent of holding up like a pick like that. The idea that in a lame duck for 4 years, you don't get to choose a fucking Supreme Court justice? McConnell's reasoning, McConnell gave the correct reasoning when he talked about the Supreme Court justice. He said, well, I think that the United States people should be allowed to pick the Supreme Court justice when they pick the president. And that was his rationale for letting the election happen. But he was correct, but he was just off by an election season. The United States people did choose. They chose President Barack Obama. That was his pick. Like, he was chosen in 2008, 2012 to have his pick, and then he didn't get it. The legislative just ripped it away from him. Like, yeah, that's wild. I don't know. There was a graph where I remember seeing charts that showed you like how many days like a thing has ever been held up before, and Garland was just like, Garland was so far ahead. Or I'm not far ahead. It was so much longer than any other Supreme Court pick has ever been denied in the history of the United States. Why do politicians do this kind of stuff when they're going to get fucked the same way when the other party comes into power? It's complicated. I think if you're being fair, people would argue that Democrats had already been being fucky with their judicial picks. Because I think, I don't want to get this history wrong, but I'm also too lazy to look it up. We'd kind of been juggling with, I think, this nuclear option, I want to say since Bush, I think it might have been since Clinton. But basically, I think Democrats threatened early on that they were going to nuke the filibuster and skip it for judicial nominees, not in the Supreme Court, but in lower courts, if Republicans weren't willing to nominate their judges or do hearings or whatever. And then I think this football got passed back and forth a couple times. And then was it under Reid that the Senate Dems triggered, and then I think under Obama, where they nuclear option and like did a bunch of appointments and then McConnell and Republicans got super ass mad about it. And then when McConnell got back into power, McConnell was like, it's my turn, motherfucker, and we're up in the antes. And then for the Supreme Court, he basically, it's been a lot of like back and forth for a while, but geez. This wasn't his full rationale. McConnell stated that due to the recent election in which Republicans gained a majority, he claimed that the people weren't on Obama's side. He was still wrong. Yeah, sure, yeah, that might have been part of it. But like, listen, you guys know me. I love the U.S. government. And I love our institutions. I love our filibuster. I love our Senate. I love our electoral college. I like all that delegation of powers. The Supreme Court judicial picks is a power expressly delegated to the President of the United States. Now, at the very least, they could have held the hearings and then shot them down. They could have held the hearings and then voted against it. But to not even hold the hearing is just... what would Scalia have said about that? I'm curious. I don't know. That's a flagrant, like, not destruction of, but an attack on an institution of the executive to be able to have that power that is expressly delegated to it. That's super fucked. But I don't know. What is your opinion on Obama bypassing McConnell and appointing Garland without the Senate's advice and consent? The Constitution enshrines advice and consent as a privilege. I would have to look at the language. I don't think the president can do that. Oh, flagrant, not flagrant. I always say flagrant. It's flagrant. I would be surprised if that's possible, but maybe, who knows? Okay. What's taking the idea that Biden should try to do absolutely everything he can to remove the filibuster now, plus get shit through, because Republicans try to remove it themselves once they get power? How can you say it's ridiculous to say McConnell would have blocked 3? Because McConnell can't block 3. That's so many. I don't know. I don't want to talk about it. I like the filibuster, but who knows? Will Republicans get rid of the filibuster? I don't know. We'll see.
Childish, impetuous, like anti-electoralism for nonsensical reasons. listen, is voting enough? No, okay? The full purview of political action, which I support people taking in this moment, goes well beyond what the YouTube TOS will allow me to say, all right? But is voting
stochastic
helpful?
terrorism.
Yes,
Don't tell
undeniably.
Pisco I said that.
It is obviously much, much, much easier to get stuff done when the world is not, well, when America is not, but America is the world, not completely controlled by Republicans.
Isn't the legislative's check to confirm as much a right as the executive's right to nominate? Yes, which is why if they wanted to do it in a way that I still would have been asked mad about, but at least it wouldn't have been like a perversion of our institutions. If the Republicans wanted, they could have held the nominations, held the hearings, and then just voted to reject them, right? Fuck it. Fine, hold your nominations, or hold your hearings, reject them, like, and then force them to pick somebody more qualified, less partisan. But at the very least, I guess maybe this is like my version of like force the vote. At the very least, like the Republicans should have had a hearing on it, and there should have been a point where they had to vote whether to confirm Merrick Garland or not. But
Of course, obviously. And if you ever want an example as to how electoralism can make a difference, look at which states are about to pass total abortion bans. Is it the red states or is it the blue states? Blue states are about...
Okay, here's some... I've been Googling so much, and almost every single thing that I see related to abortion and abortion bans are lies. Now, what he just said might not have been a lie. I'm just going to say this because I'm too lazy to do it on stream right now. But like anytime somebody tells you some shit about like these states are about to do this or that, just go Google like what are they actually doing. Somebody can tell me if it is the case. Are there any states that are looking at like complete and total 100% abortion bans? Does anybody know that? Is that the case? Because every time I go to look up when people are like, oh, this state is about to do a total ban, blah, blah, blah. Usually when I look that up, it'll be like one state senator proposed something or said something. There's not actually states that are like, yeah, we're banning 100% of all abortions. Now, to be clear, that's not to say that no one's thinking about it. They might be, but every time I went to look it up, it usually wasn't. That usually wasn't the case, but
about to become a haven for people with regards to reproductive health. Red states are about to become dystopian with this in this regard, you know? Clearly there is a difference. You can't tell some poor like Hispanic mom of two who's pregnant with an unwanted third who's trying to cross over the
how much do you think you'd agree with Joe Manchin on policy and institution related stuff? You had a one-on-one conversation. I'm not sure. I'd have to have a talk to see. It sounds like based on his personal values and everything, I probably fall a bit to the left of him on economic and social policy for sure. But I will say, if you want to understand why you shouldn't take the advice of dipshits on fucking Twitch and YouTube for political advice, me included even, fact check me if you want. Remember all the talk from Kyle Kuklinski and who's that other crazy dude, Jimmy Dore, where they're like, well, if I was president, what I would do is I'd force Manchin to vote with me, and if he doesn't, I would campaign against him. I tell him, I'm gonna get you kicked out, I'm gonna get you removed, I'm gonna do everything I can to make sure you, right? I'm pretty sure Manchin was the senator that gained the most popularity over the past like year or whatever. It was insane. Wasn't he? He's up like 16 points, I think. Like, holy fuck. Like more than, like dramatically more than any other, I think, even politician in the country right now. His popularity gains were massive. So like, yeah. So like, imagine what it would have looked like with Biden, like dumping political capital. Now the Democrats aren't stupid enough to do that. Thank God. Cause they're not ran by dipshits on fucking YouTube, but.
The Texas border to get to Colorado for an abortion because it's illegal in the state she's in. Like, did you know there's no difference between the Democrats and the Republicans? Like, tell that to her, you know, like clearly not. How many suicides this going to cause? It's definitely going to have a positive effect in them. And I mean positive in the statistical sense, not the moral sense. They will go up. Yeah. Look at the Scullion moron. Yeah, you don't need to... Oh, wait, when did Sean block me? I didn't know Sean blocked me. I thought we just didn't follow each other. I just knew we weren't oomphies.
Sean, like the Sean and Jen guy? That dude is deranged. We can look at this
thread real quick. I love yelling lefties. Haven't seen explanation from the vote blue no matter who folks why Obama didn't try to codify Roe and big majorities. Because Democrats suck. Nobody denies this.
No, it's because we use literally all of our fucking shit on fucking healthcare. That was like the huge fucking thing that Obama wanted to do. And arguably, whether you like it or not, or whether we go any farther with it, it was probably the United States' like biggest push into trying to get something accomplished with healthcare. And it did do some things. We radically radically changed some of the rules relating to healthcare. We made it so you couldn't just cancel people's coverage for no fucking reason. We got rid of pre-existing conditions, which has become so a part of like the national conversation about healthcare. Even Republicans were stealing that talking point. That's good. Right? Even Donald Trump, remember this? We're saying things like, oh yeah, like we're gonna have healthcare with no pre-existing conditions. Like Republicans tried to steal the talking point. That's really good that became part of the national conversation, right? And then like all the people that got coverage, and the ACA did expand coverage. Whether you think it didn't do enough to cut costs, it probably didn't. Whether you think it gave too much power to insurance companies, it probably did. Whether you think it failed to not have a public option, yeah, thank you, Lieberman in the Senate. That's true. It didn't. But like, damn, that's what Trump, or not Trump. That's what Obama did with his majorities. But then he lost his majorities. I think, wasn't it for 6 out of 8 of his years? Didn't he not have a majority in the House and Senate? Like you can't do everything. You can't do everything. Like you can only do so much. Jesus. And then people want to compare him to like LBJ, who I think had like fucking 80% majorities in both houses. Like, bro, what the fuck? Like,
if you think he couldn't do it, why did he promise he would try? He could, and he sucks. Are you okay with being lied to? No, all politicians lie to you, except for Bernie. Love Bernie. Vote for the people promising to codify Roe, even if they make no effort to? Yes, because it's better to vote for the people who lie when they promise to codify Roe than to vote for the people who say they will repeal it. What's the conceivable path to progress voting blue no matter who? That doesn't give us progress. It just forestalls fascist advance while we make progress through...
Stop talking about fascism. It's so cringe. The Louisiana law is kind of crazy, but I'm not sure if it will pass. Bill classifying abortion as homicide is advanced by Louisiana law. Oh, yeah. But will it pass? That's the important thing. I don't know what the support is in their state legislature for right now.
Direct action. Every Republican who gets voted out for everywhere forever? What? Why are these arguments always so stupid? Like, I understand
it's Sean's Twitter. It's worse than my Twitter.
About any of these questions for like 1/8 of a second, the answers are really obvious. You don't actually have to think about it. Like, okay. But the Dem leadership doesn't even want that.
Europeans, stop talking about American politics challenge level impossible. Please shut the fuck up.
It did protect basic rights for the length of the Obama term. See? Because Obama was nominating left-leaning Supreme Court judges and wasn't Trump. And then Trump came along, appointed 3 Republican Supreme Court justices, and now abortion rights are going away. So there was a consequence to letting Republicans win. Pretty straightforward. No matter how Democrats do, their excuse for their action comes back. You didn't vote enough. Yep, Democrats suck. Majorities are never real. Supermajorities are never real. There's always some precedent or technicality to prevent action. Yep, Democrats suck. And their advocates punch down at voters who get tired of this. Yeah, they suck. But they'll fundraise off those issues, then go on to back the conservative Democrats.
How can you have both positions, Vaush? Can you like actually take a strong position instead of being a little fucking baby bitch?
Anyone saying they only back conservative Dems in place where progressives would win? 1, this isn't true. That's true. 2, if they refuse to back you, just vote for us anyway. Who gives a shit? Spend the money and time. Like, yeah, this is just really dumb. It's just, yeah, it's just low IQ. You know, it's so.
You've intellectually outpaced him.
I'll say it again. It's an aesthetic obsession. For a lot of people, leftism isn't about making the world a better place or improving the lives of people. It is a brand, okay? It's like having a supreme brick that you throw at people. It's 100% an aesthetic composure, something to use to represent yourself. It has nothing to do with actual values achieved. So for a lot of people, the highest priority is making sure they don't look like liberals, and the way they do that is anytime anything happens anywhere, they complain about Democrats and liberals and say they're never voting for them again, no matter how tangentially related it actually is. It's often, none. Here's far-right trash gloating about the SCOTUS ruling. We don't need to look at far-right trash gloating about the SCOTUS ruling. We know that they are. It's deeper than that. It's a misplaced sense of pride. It's a threat to their identity to be cucked by the system.
True.
No, a lot of it is a pride thing. So the funny thing is like a lot of the logic that the anti-electoral left will use is really, really, really similar to the kind of reactive, toxic, paranoid pride mongering that far-right people do, or like toxic masculinity or whatever. Because there's a very obvious aversion to investing in a system that you know you're going to get cucked by. You know, like that's always the line. It's like, hey, you voted for these guys. It doesn't actually have anything to do with the outcomes you achieve. It's a sense of pride. It's, well, at least I didn't participate in the system that's failing. But that's not a good way to participate in politics. It's politics. Everyone's getting cucked to varying extents,
True.
So it's, yeah, it's very dumb. It's very, very dumb. It's branding. It is branding. It's definitely branding. What are your thoughts in 2024? We're fucked. These morons will never say what the better solution is than voting. A lot of their arguments rely on the deeply unfounded and very stupid presupposition that voting and direct action are mutually exclusive. I don't know why they always talk as though that's the case and then never justify it. Like they never justify, like they always talk as though that's a pre-assumed fact that you either vote or you...
Do you think Vaush doing a good job bringing over lefties to become more moderate since he panders them a lot more than you do? Maybe on some issues. So like on U.S. foreign policy, he can. But the problem is that like his ideological framework is kind of rotten to the core. So like he might get some people to slightly better positions by chance, because there are some positions he's copied from me that he still holds on to, thankfully enough. But like the way that he reasons things out, the way that he treats some groups of people as like fundamentally different and evil, like these types of things are not good, and they lead themselves to like more extremist problems down the line, unfortunately. But I mean, it's better than Hassan. Maybe, probably.
You do direct action, as though voting doesn't just take up like 1 or 2 hours of one day. Sometimes there are lines, but like, okay, you know, like not very much time at all every 2 years. And they're like, well, well, you're doing that, I'm doing direct action. And what direct action are these Twitter lefties doing, by the way? What direct action is Sean doing, okay? This dude's talked before about he's so socially anxious he won't go on live streams. Like he's out there fucking leading Black Bloc, you know? Absolutely ridiculous. It's not about direct action. It's about implying that...
It reminds me of that Xavier guy online that's always shit-talking me, talking about how the fucking revolution and how we need to do more, blah, blah, blah. And I think this guy is known for like tweeting out that like he didn't leave his house for 2 fucking years during the coronavirus shit because he has so much social anxiety. It's like, bro, what the fuck? Like, what revolution are you gonna be leading, dude? Or even participating in?
By not doing the electoralism bit. It's very silly. It's just, we don't need to harp on this. I've made all these talking points before. Just right now, I sincerely believe that the most coherent and best response out of this tragedy, the incoming revocation of Roe v. Wade, has been from liberal voters, the libs. As embarrassing as they are, I think they're doing better right now. Because all I see from lefties on social media is screeching about how they're not liberals. That's all I see. Like, that's it.
What the fuck is direct action? Why does the far left... Okay, I'll tell you what direct action is. The concept is interesting, but nobody knows what it means, okay? Direct action is things like mutual aid. So people like Mike, or I don't know if Vaush is a stummer, Hassan, think that mutual aid means donating money. That's not what it means. The concept of mutual aid is to like set up systems in place that can like replace the other systems that exist in society for people to help each other and support each other. You kind of have like these mini communes, or these like mini fucking, not like a commune, but like these alternate systems in place. Like, for example, like maybe you collect donations around the neighborhood to create like a group babysitting thing for your local community. And then you have like people that are getting paid out of this fund. You've got people managing it, something like that. But like that mutual aid is this concept of creating other systems in society that work to either upend or replace the capitalist ones that exist or the oppressive ones that exist that are more like community focused or community driven, right? That's like that mutual aid can be a form of direct action. Protesting or other things can be direct action as well too, but yeah. Why are you obsessed with I don't even know what that's. Good meme. Direct action is like the Unabomber because you can't get more true. The Black Panther Party did this. They set up a system to give school lunch to black children. Sure, yeah. Direct action just means participating in left liberal civil society. You're making it more complicated than it actually is. Okay. I don't think that like tweeting counts as direct action, my dude.
You know, like look at all the top threads right now from like lefty Twitter users or whatever, and it's about how the Republicans are monstrous and how the right to an abortion is like fundamental and so on. And then look at all the top trending stuff from lefties, and it's like this evidence of Republicans doing monstrous stuff is the reason why I won't be voting Democrat next year. And it's like, thank you. We know you're a leftist. Thank you. You've signaled. You have virtue.
Vaush is anti-lefty art. Oh boy.
Your virtue is signaled. I recognize the virtue that you have signaled, you know. And of course, conservatives are you know, being conservatives about this. So they're obviously by far the villain here. But Yep, there we go. Thank you, liberals, for being the vanguard of civil rights. Ooh, love that. Love that. You said we're doing some canvassing this year that's still at the Hill, or will be for an organization like Planned Parenthood. No, canvassing, like proper canvassing, like going out and doing canvassing with. I'll give you guys updates when I have updates. Okay, it's not as though I'm not talking with folks behind the scenes. You don't want to preempt this stuff too much. I think I have a lot of like really big ideas. How's the cheese? I promise there will be cheese wheels. It helps that we're in a bit of a COVID slump right now. That makes the whole thing a lot more viable.
Do you think he'll actually do canvassing stuff?
Yeah. We all want cheese. Thank you. We all want cheese. Don't say we're fucked and not elaborate. Come on. What do you want from me? What, you think your one comment's gonna? I have to go into a spiel on it? Right now, polling just doesn't look very good for Democrats. Do you consider cheese a seasoning? No, you're disgusting. Anyway, shh. Okay, hush. God, debate the Supreme Court live. I would love to debate the Supreme Court. You think those pussies could handle real debate? Okay, they do their 80-year-old octogenarian.
Oh, we've got the Mr. Girl video.
Legalese debate.
I just remembered.
Citing legal precedent. Nah. I'm gonna call them so many slurs. They're going to be so fucking. I'm gonna interrupt them every like nanosecond. This will be the strategy that I invoke if I ever debate Chomsky as well in the 5 minutes that he has left on the NATO thing, you know? Are you mad? 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 Old plus fell off plus fell off, bro, you fell off. Ratio, woo, you know. Something like that. The modern Socrates.
How is this possible? Okay, Vaush is going now. This person made this comment. People reported this person, and apparently, after reviewing the available information, we want to let you know that they didn't break our safety policies. Wait, really? Isn't that kind of crazy? But okay. Tweet that at Elon. Elon, please ban this person.